Hello there everybody and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga DLC showcase video. I'm going to give you all of my thoughts on all of the characters in depth and tell you if I think the DLC is worth it or not. Today we're going to be reviewing the Book of Boba Fett DLC, which I find interesting that they didn't add a new version of Boba Fett into this pack like the Tusken Boba, but I guess it makes sense since they added him into Mando Pack 2. I feel like they should have saved Fennec and Boba Fett for this DLC and then put the Armorer and Pelimoto into the Mando Pack 2, but I assume that they didn't do that because of the development scheduling and probably not deciding if they were going to make more DLC yet when they released the first pack. We'll go in depth on every character in this pack, but before we do that, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to stay up to date with more videos just like this on my channel. And now, let's get right into the DLC. The characters in this DLC pack are Cad Bane, the Armorer, Pelimoto, Cobb Vanth, and Black Chrysanthemum. My favorite character of this pack is definitely Cad Bane, and least favorite is probably Pelimoto. I was a little disappointed with Cobb's design as well. I just feel like they could have made it more interesting. I'll just start with him, since I kind of already started talking about him. I think he's just not nearly as interesting as he could have been. He's just kind of bland to look at, and there's nothing really unique about him, and I definitely think he would have been way more interesting if he had Boba Fett's armor on from The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1, with a jetpack. I totally understand why he doesn't have it since he never wore it in the Book of Boba Fett itself, but I really would have liked to have seen it. It would have made it a lot better. Another contender for my least favorite character is Pelimoto. The Scavenger has nothing really unique. I personally think that they should have swapped her out for either one of the Twilight characters in the show or maybe even the Vespa gang members, just because the gameplay would be a lot more unique and I feel like they're way more relevant to this show in particular, but the minifigure itself is pretty accurate to the show and obviously the LEGO minifigure, so I can't really complain about that too much. It's just bland and feels a little out of place, especially since we have a much better Scavenger character in this pack. In contrast, Cad Bane is easily my favorite character from this pack, and one of the only good parts about the actual show itself, in my opinion. The devs just had to make a new minifigure for this character, and it just looks so good, especially with the jacket and the beautiful arm printing. If you're a returning viewer of my channel, I'm sure you've heard me say before that I'm a sucker for fast-firing blaster characters, dual wielders, and characters with jetpacks. While he does dual wield and has a great fire rate, I think the only downside is that he doesn't have his infamous rocket boots from the Clone Wars, but since this is the Book of Boba Fett and not a Clone Wars pack, I can forgive them for that. The idle animation is very reminiscent of his entrance into the show, and I really hope LEGO makes this character into LEGO form. To go with Cad Bane, you have another bounty hunter in Black Chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemum is a very cool character that debuted in the comics a few years ago that I actually have the first run of it, and I think I speak for everyone when I say I wished LEGO made this character into LEGO form. In the comics, he's a massive beast who just wins all of their fights, but that's the case until he gets assigned to find and kill Obi-Wan in the Dune Sea, which is how he gets the scar on his eye, so that's really cool backstory. Anyways, the actual character itself isn't really super interesting in terms of abilities, but I do like his burst rifle. Finally, we have the Armorer, and she's a part of the Scavenger class, which totally makes sense because she uses her tools as weapons. She has some of the coolest idle animations in the game, and her helmet really makes her stand out from other characters and especially Scavenger characters. Having the Armorer as such a cool and unique Scavenger character kind of makes me feel even more strongly about them including a different character other than Pelimoto into this pack, but again, I kind of understand why they did. She just is such a standout character that I don't feel like Pelimoto was needed. Overall, I would honestly give this pack probably about an 8 out of 10. I really didn't like the Book of Boba Fett as a TV show, but you gotta admit the characters in this pack are, for the most part, pretty great. My ranking of the characters in this pack is first, easily Cad Bane, second, the Armorer, then Chrysanthemum, followed by Cobb Vanth, and then Pelimoto last. I definitely would recommend getting this pack. This is a perfect way to expand your Mandalorian and Clone Wars selection of characters in the game, and Cad Bane and the Armorer might be worth it just on their own. If you're trying to decide if it's worth it to get this whole character collection 2 bundle, then definitely pick it up. No matter what DLC I review, the deal will always be worth it and cheaper than buying the DLC separately. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said in the comment section down below, and while you're down there, please make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more videos just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.